Hey everybody, Helcorex here. We're sort of looking at one of my armies that we have, the Empire. We'll just take a quick gander of this book. I'm going to probably do a quick run through. But we have the Empire Warhammer armies. This is an army I started collecting back at towards the end of 3rd edition. And you sort of, when you go through it, notice that it's not really Games Workshop stuff because it wasn't available at the time. You could get the rules, but you couldn't get the miniatures. Well, you did have some of the, like the Rogue Trader stuff, but that was around available. But here we got the book, and for the collection of the army. So when this book came out, this is when I really started squaring away what was in, for my force. So, Empire. Now let's put this off the side, and then we'll just go through and take a quick gander. All right, let's just do a panoramic. I have to get farther back. There we go. Here we have the panoramic view of my Empire army, along with some stuff that still needs to be done. I do have some more blisters. I forgot to get them out. And there's an army back there. Alright. Let's just start over here. Let's go this route like that. Alright, here we go. These are my Greatswords. And at the time, when I started building this army, well, like I said, Games Workshop miniatures were not available. So you had to go with what was in the area, which was Raupartha, Grenadier, Heartbreaker. Those were the miniatures that you could get. They were readily available, and historicals. So that's what we went with. And this is my Greatsword unit. There's only 12 of them. At the time, I should have got a couple more blisters and really filled these guys out, but I wasn't thinking. They were like, oh, I can always get more. I want them. You can't get them anymore. Not that I know of any place. So there you go. Now, here is a Raupartha unit of archers, as you can see here. My painting 30 years ago was like, not so great. It was pretty much monotone. There's no shading, anything. You just put the paint on it and call her good. There's some of them I think I might even actually try to do the eyes and stuff. But back then that wasn't really the thing. And here is like supposed to be my Reichsguard unit. And they're pretty filled out. There's 17 here, I think it is. And it's not a bad unit. It's been in battle many times. I would steal from this unit to make the Reichsguard unit bigger if I wasn't going with all the swordsmen. But yeah, I've been actually thinking if I'm going to play this army again, and I would actually go out and find a few more to fill this out to an even 20 or 25, somewhere there, for an actual force of heavy hitters for my army. Now, this here is my swordsman unit. That is a collection of Raupartha and Grenadier miniatures, just like these guys right here. Assortment of Raupartha Grenadier. There actually might be a few Games Workshop ones hidden in there somewhere. I have to take a look. I think maybe 2. I think they come in blisters of 2, so there might be a couple of them hanging out in there. Alright, speaking of handgunners, these are my handgun unit. These are, I think, Raupartha of the back in the era. A little bit of everything. There's 12, 13 here? 13. Yeah, it's a bit historical. So I could always add more to it if I wanted to. If I got some actual Citadel ones, throw them in. That would actually fill it out a little bit. But you can see my painting scheme wasn't all that great. It was, let me see. Here we go. We have some Grenadier, and I think some of these are actually, these are actually Citadel miniatures. They started showing up towards the end. I guess it would have been about 94, 95. I started really getting my hands on some Citadel stuff to be able to use. And then back here's the artillery park. So we have a Raupartha, I think that's a Raupartha artillery crew. And then we have a mortar crew. I think these are actually, that's a Citadel one. I think these are, yep, they're Citadel. And then we got the Hellblaster volley gun. That's a Citadel miniature. And then we have a couple great cannons back here with a few Citadel miniatures mixed in. So I have plenty of artillery to do the job of shooting away. And right there, that's like 500 points worth of artillery just sitting right there. So I got a large force of them. Like these guys, I think these are like 7 or 8 points a piece here for these guys. And I think these guys are 7 points. These guys are 8 points, I think. 8 or 9. I think these are 10 or 11 points each. So there's a few points. Now, we're getting into some of this stuff here. And as you can see here, this is my steam cannon. Or steam tank, I should say. This is one of my actual Citadel. At the time when I bought it, it was like $30-something to buy this thing. And I was like, man, that's a lot of money. Oh, man. Why would I spend that much money on something? Nowadays, you $30, everybody just laughs. But back then, in the early 90s, $30 was a chunk of change. And then, here we have some Raupartha. These are supposed to be my Keslev Lancers. These are just your plain Raupartha horse. Paying these guys up, probably close to 29 years ago or somewhere in there. And here's I think this is the War of the Rose. I think that's either Raupartha or Grenadier. I can't remember which. I have a couple of those guys. See, I make those guys because they come in, I think, in blisters of 3. And I wanted to have a block of 10, so I have bought these guys. I think they came in blisters of 2. So I have an extra knight that I toss in there. That's like the hero that goes with them, armed up to the teeth. And then we have I think these are the Blazing Sun Knights. These are the Rock and Hammer guys. But they're 2 armor save. I have a block of those. There's 10 there. And then I have another block back here. That's a start of them. There's only 6. Eventually, maybe I'll get around to throwing. I can always throw these guys, a couple, them in to make a nice force as like the hero types that go with them. And then back here we actually have one of my wizard heroes. He's mounted, so he's on the horse. Or he can be on the Pegasus, right there. Or he can go on the Hippogriff, which is back here. Or I can throw him on this little dragon here, back like that. He's on the dragon. And then I got my, let's put him back on this horse back here. So we got, there he is, right there. Oh, he has a few mounts. Back here, I have my favorite. These are my Raupartha Chimeras. They have killed hundreds and hundreds of people over the years. They are my 2 favorites. They go out and just slaughter things. They're the havoc makers in most of my armies. that I've always played. Oh, here we go. I got some crossbowmen right there. There's a few crossbowmen, not very many. And some to go along. And here are a couple old Ralpartha Pegasus riders. They also can work as, I think, knights for the Bretonians if I wanted them. I've had these guys for years. I usually run them as wizards mounted on Pegasi to go out and just cause some havoc, so it's like mobile, moving around. And then I have my hill giant right there. Like I said, I already showed the cockatrice right there. And then we have the infamous Hydra. Not the ones from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or, you know, that whole thing, Marvel, but different Hydra. So I got that guy. One of these days I'm going to actually put him on a different base, but he needs a bigger base. That thing is falling apart. Because back in the day when I first got it, you didn't have access to all that fun stuff, and you just put it on hard cardboard stock. That's what you mounted everything on. And as you see, all these armies right here, they all been rebased over the years. So back when I started being able to get my hands on bases. Now, right here, you've seen this one before. This is my war wagon. I'm going to get around and actually finish this thing. So that's one of the things that's on the agenda for my Empire army that will be put forth and finished, and it'll be my mobile force for all these guys. All right, let's bring this guy forward. This is I spent some chunk of change on this guy. This is my hero type. Hero on a dragon. When you'd play those 3,000 point, 4,000 point games, this guy would be in the force. We're talking a giant dragon, the largest dragon you can get for the game, and he has a big hero that's riding it. And he used to be on a base like the Hydra, but it all warped and over time, so I pulled it off here recently when I started sorting everything again. So he is going to get a new base, and I'm bringing out the jigsaw, and he's going to get mounted up and made more dioramic as the time comes. But this is, let's throw the under, as you can see, this is when I really started figuring out, oh, there's this thing called wet blending and all that. That's when I really started playing with stuff, when I painted this guy. And I've had him probably since 92, 93, somewhere in there. I won't even stay on it. There we go. I stayed on it. He's all ready to go. And that is a Bretonian knight, I do believe. When the Bretonians came along, and I was like, I am going to steal this guy and put him on there. So at other times, it was like a wizard riding him. But then when the Bretonians showed up, yeah, he's going to steal somebody from their army. And over here, this was the plan for the addition. I wanted some blocks of halberdiers. So I got 30 halberdiers already, so I could have 2 small units or 1 big unit, depending on how I wanted to go with it. And then I have some more crossbowmen, 10 more, so I'll add those to the 5 I already have, so that give me 15 crossbowmen. And then here's 20 archers, 20 more. These are from the Battle Masters box set. And so I think I had like 3 or 4 boxes worth of stuff. Mostly I got it because I wanted it for my Chaos armies, but this is the additional extra stuff that you can get with it and play with. And you can build a nice little force with it. Now, here we got another mounted wizard on his horse. And if you probably are thinking, yes, I got him because I wanted to put him on all these guys over here. There we go. Wouldn't focus very well. not focusing very well with all those white stuff. But that's the plan, is that, you know, I have somebody from riding on my Pegasi if I wanted to, or the other dragon, so I can mount them on here or in the Pegasi. Now, I do have a blister somewhere. Another blister, I think it was Reichsguard, and another wizard. And so I had some more stuff to add. So I do have some guys to add to that block of, so I can get them up to speed. And back here is the start of my Bretonian force. I do have some Bretonian knights. Somewhere around here I was talking with Dan Booman that I do have a few more knights. I can't find them. That's the thing. I got a bunch of miniatures that are just missing. They're in a box and I can't find them. And that's my undead army. So about half my undead army is missing at the moment. And I got a bad feeling I know what happened to it. So I'll explain that when I go through the undead army. But at the moment, that's a good force of Bretonians. Some of that came from the 5th edition box set. And some of this is like Battlemaster stuff. But I do have basically 36 knights. That's a pretty good mobile force for playing Bretonians. Get them into the whole thing. They got some supporting archers and a whole bunch of knights to go rampaging through as a mobile force. So, and I got some extra horses there to go with some of the wizards that are parked elsewhere that I forgot to get out. That's what those other miniatures in a different box that is hidden way over there. Alright, so this is everything. And I think I rambled along long enough with the my Empire army that I played many times. It's one of my favorites. My Undead army and my Empire army and my Dwarf army were the ones I played the most. I do have Chaos. A couple Chaos armies. I got, obviously, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I'm big into daemons. I have a bunch of those. So I'll bring them all out. Alright, this has gone long enough. And I will talk with y'all later. Hellcracks out.